Skirt, skirt. Told you we always been ready. I don't need people that's petty, that weigh on me heavy while I'm being steady. I need a record with Felly. We get it bouncing like Betty's, I feel like I'm Nelly. Don't bring the beef like a deli. It's leave on a levy, no sleeping on me like I'm Freddy. Chris Breeze, how I do, hit him with the moves. Left hand step back, ballin' like I'm Coos. All faith, God's plan, you just gotta choose. God slaps, nothing left to prove. Y'all gotta leave me alone. Lately I've been in my zone. Told them no cap like I fitted, but lately the flows have been straight off the dome. I feel like I'm MVP, like my name Patty Mahomes. If it ain't about money, don't hit up my phone, cause lately I've been in my zone.
Hello, welcome to the Cowboy Show, hosted by Ben Carey and Nick Gronerad, combining expert human opinions with cutting-edge simulation models to help you arrive at the best picks each week. Inside Edge Community. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to tonight's stream. We've got some NFL playoff action, last game of round number 1. We've got the Arizona Cardinals on the road taking on the LA Rams. No, they are not taking on the Colts, as my initial stream title said. I have absolutely no clue why I titled the stream Cardinals at Colts, but I did. The Colts are out. They have gone the way of the dodo. No more games for them. It is, in fact, the Rams. So I've updated that, and nobody flame me for that. Ben, how you feeling about tonight's game?
I feel pretty confident, which is somewhat scary, I guess, but
yeah, I mean, it's good to be confident, right?
Yeah, but sometimes you can be overconfident and miss things, but I feel pretty good about my angle with this one, and of course we'll get more into that.
Yeah, I think that you and I are pretty much in agreement on how this game is going to go, which is nice. I mean, that gives me some more confidence as well. I'm curious, though, how the chat thinks this game is going to go. And in order to do that, what I have done, actually, is I have thrown up a poll. So you've got 10 minutes to vote on that. We want to see which team is going to cover, and is the game going to go over, or is the game going to go under? So 10 minutes to let your voice be heard. I'm going to say hello to everyone in the chat. Zach says, are you on the Rams or the Cards tonight? We are on the same side. We'll let you know very soon. If you take a peek at the model score, that might give you a hint. Nevin says, patience, young grasshopper. Yes, patience is key. Patience is a virtue. Brad says, anyone sweating Blackhawks? I'm not sweating the Blackhawks. I thought it was a super popular pick on Trent's stream this morning. It seemed like a lot of people were on them. I didn't take it, though. Discord is fire. That is a fact. Our Discord is 100% fire. Zach says, every time Ben tells me I'm wrong, he's been right. I shit you not. I have Cards as my last leg to win 1,500 tonight. Good luck. Good luck.
I mean, I can't say good luck because I'm on the other side.
Yeah, well, yeah, no. And it's not like there's a potential middle, even.
That's like the best of luck.
Yeah.
BOL.
What's up, Kobe? Kobe gang in the chat. What's up, JFK? Glad to see you finally hop into the Capwise stream. Pleasure having you here. What's up, Chaz? Player Prop Lord. T Drexel, also welcome to the stream, says, can't see anything. Try refreshing the stream. I have the stream up on the side, and I have stream network info stats up. So everything is fine. Either refresh or lower the quality on the stream if you can't see anything. That's another potential solution. So Nevin says, both matchups hit 57 and 53. Line at 49 seems a little sketch. Potentially. We'll touch on that when we hop into the actual game level discussion. What's up, Juju? Says he needs Kraken. I guess you're anti-sweating Brad Sweat. One of you is going to win, one of you is going to lose. That's how this works.
That is.
Yeah, what's up, Sick Money? What's up, Mr. Steelbook Coins? Joined DECA. I was actually a DECA officer in high school. Fun fact. I didn't do anything marketing related after that, but I was in DECA just to have something to throw on the college application.
I probably should have joined DECA. I was just lazy. I was too busy betting.
Too busy betting in high school?
Next question.
Next question. Plead the fifth.
It's like that wasn't a question. You just told us.
Yeah. All right.
Did Kraken just score? I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe.
it's Rob. Rob was in DECA with me in high school. That's funny.
Yeah, I was like, that's a really random comment. Maybe there's some backstory with this, but there you go.
That's the backstory. I was like, huh. That's a very strange question. But yeah, no, join DECA for the free food. DECA always had the free food hookups.
And I feel like the attractive girls did DECA too, right?
I don't know how many
I can't speak for everyone's school, but
attractive girls came out of Fauquier County, Virginia. I'm going to be honest with you.
Hey, man, if they're watching the stream right now, they're going to flame you for that one.
I mean, do I talk to any of them? No. Do I live all the way across the country? Yes. Am I at all worried about that audio clip getting out? No. So, game information. Again, Cardinals are on the road. They lost the division title to this Rams team. So this is the third time that these teams are playing. Rams 3.5-point favorites at home. This is a number that's been moving around a little bit. This was at 4.5 earlier in the week. I think it actually opened up all the way at 5. It went all the way down to 3, but it's bounced back up to 3.5. I think within the last half hour or so. Total in this game has been pretty steady, at least for the last day or so, at 49. So Ben, let's not keep up the suspense. What do you like here? Not that it should be a surprise to anybody.
Yeah, I like the Rams, and let me tell everyone why. So 3.5, 4, 3, whatever the number is, I like all three of those. There's two main reasons why I like this a lot. Well, I'm going to say there's one main reason and then several little reasons. The biggest reason, Nick, is Sean McVay against Kyler Murray is, I believe, 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
5-1. And that lone loss came this season.
Yeah,
Rams and Cardinals.
That was the first time they played this year.
Yeah, that was the first time. And I don't think that's a fluke, because watching some of those games and doing research, defensively, the Rams feel very confident and they're able to scheme pretty well against Kyler Murray. And of course, one game he got the best of them, and it happens, right? And anytime you can beat a divisional opponent 5 out of 6 times, that's very impressive, because we know how tough divisional games are. A lot of times they're coin flips, especially AFC North. Like, those teams kill each other. Literally. Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh and Bengals, yeah, like a few years ago. So anyways, I think that's going to continue tonight. And the second reason, not as big of a reason, but this is a game where I think Hopkins not being on the field is really going to catch up to the Cardinals. They're going to really need a guy to step up. And I just don't think guys like Ertz, AJ Green, Christian Kirk, I mean, James Conner out of the backfield, I get it, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. And I like the Rams to win by 7 in this one.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. And I think you just touched on it, and Larry in the chat both just kind of made what I think is a really key point, is the absence of DeAndre Hopkins tonight. And it's not only Hopkins, it's also the fact that Kyler Murray earlier this season missed a few games with an injury. He missed weeks 9, 10, 11, and 12. One of those might have been a bye, but he missed, I think, 3 games in that span. And since he's come back from the injury, like, is he healthy enough to be playing? Yes. Have the Cardinals performed well since he came back? No. In week 13, Murray's first game back from the injury, they beat the Bears. That was a game that they did have DeAndre Hopkins in. Week 14, they lost to this Rams team. That was the most recent meeting between these two games. That was a game in Arizona. I know the Cardinals are 7-1 on the road. They're going to be like better off being on the road, blah, blah, blah. I don't really think that's a thing. They put up 12 points against the Colts, or against the Lions. They put up 16 against the Colts, 25 against the Cowboys in their only win, with Murray back from his injury and without DeAndre Hopkins, and then 30 points, but that included a defensive touchdown last week against Seattle. Since Murray came back, 2-4 overall, 1-3 without D-Hop. And I just think that this Cardinal team is overrated a little bit at this point. A lot of good pieces, but I think just as far as a top to bottom team, the Rams have the edge everywhere.
I agree. And look, J.J. Watt's coming back, but how much of a factor will he even bring to the table tonight, right?
Yeah, I mean, even if J.J. Watt's good, I mean, is their D-line better than the Rams' D-line? No.
I mean, you could go position by position, and the Rams have an edge in most of the categories. Like, even if you want to give the quarterback edge to the Cardinals, it's so close, right? Because we've been preaching this. If Stafford's healthy, elite's not the right word, but he's a very good quarterback.
He is. He's a very good quarterback. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a guy. I really think. I mean, this Rams team, the core of the team, the coaching staff of the team, they made the Super Bowl a couple of years ago with Jared Goff at quarterback. You can hate on Stafford all you want. He's an upgrade in every way to Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I really feel confident about the Rams tonight. BetMGM has an alternative line of Rams -7 at plus 165. That's looking pretty appealing to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like we always talk about buying points, right? That's selling points. When does it make sense to sell points? How many points should you sell?
I would buy a point at the hook if it was only like -115 max in this position, but you're giving up 20 cents.
Yeah, I think the -130 is too much to buy that hook.
There's a reason why the books are letting you do that for 20 cents, and it's I hate to say it. I think it is minus EV at that point.
Yeah, I mean, all you're doing is buying a push at 3 for 20 cents.
Yeah, and you could come back to me and be like, "Oh, Rams won by 3. Told you so." Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, that's one time, right? You would have to track that over and over and over again. And Nick, we kind of did something like that last year, right? Like,
yeah, I put out an article about how much more likely it is for you to win buying points in like every half-point increment you can buy using actual NFL data from the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. It's never a good idea. There is no half point that it is worth it to buy in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think people look at the spread, right, and they see that -3.5, and they're like, "Ooh, I don't know if I should be on the Rams at -3.5." Right? We've seen those tricky -3.5s before. People naturally look to the dog in those spots, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been a favorite heavy playoffs so far.
Yeah.
Not that I think that means very much for this game, but I do really like the Rams here. And Peter, everything that we do is one unit.
Yeah, unless I say otherwise. Mm-hmm. Playoff game. Yeah, would be silly to. For me, the way we bet, it would be silly to add more units onto that.
Mm-hmm. So a couple questions from the chat before we hop in to the prop market. See people talking about the Kraken game. Perfect B says, I like Van Jefferson and AJ Green receiving overs. There's at least one of those that I like quite a bit tonight. Larry says, JJ what? That's more like it.
JJ who?
JJ who? WH Omega lulls in the chat. Perfect B says, Week 4, Cardinals beat the Rams 37-20. Yeah, they did. And then the Rams beat the Cards 30-23 the next time they played.
And I think Hopkins was in that first matchup.
Yeah, Hopkins
correct?
was in the first match, and he got hurt during the second game. Tripness says, I threw my mortgage on Connor scoring a tighty tonight. Am I good? I mean, for your sake, I hope so.
I hate when people do it or do a bet like that and then ask us. It's like, well,
I always assume that people are joking. Like, nobody actually threw their mortgage on a bet.
yeah. But even if they said, hey, do you like this? It's like, well, what good does it matter at this point? You already made the bet, right? Like I want to agree with you, but I also don't want to tell you I disagree and then make you feel bad about it, right?
Yeah. Legit Boss says, think Ertz can get 2 touchdowns tonight. I mean, he's a lot more likely than I am to score 2 touchdowns tonight. But I mean, it's possible. I hate touchdown props, as I say every time they come up, but a guy to get 2 touchdowns, probably not.
Are you
Is it
going through all
possible?
these
Yeah.
comments?
Yeah, I'm running through comments.
Okay, I have one that I definitely have to address, so keep going.
Okay, yeah, I'm just going down. Brad says, are there real people betting on Ertz to score 2 touchdowns? Yeah, people bet on all kinds of crazy shit, and sometimes they hit. Perfect beat. Cardinals find a ski off in that ass. Yes. Or no. Legit Boss says, I got a prop with Sony Michel, OBJ, and James Conner all scoring a touchdown. Good luck. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Again, it's touchdown props, it's parlays. It's not my cup of tea per se, but I have nothing against any of those guys scoring touchdowns. -3 at -117 worth it, says pick 6.
That's close. That's most books would not give you that, so that's interesting. It's splitting hairs at that point.
Yeah, I mean, if you feel like very confident that this is going to be a game that goes to OT or something, then maybe that's something that you could buy. But
yeah, it's tough, right? Because if you asked me and said -111, I'm like, yes. -112, yeah.
Yeah, so it's
then you get to like
really
-115. I'm like, eh. So
yeah. Larry says, I shouldn't hang out with Trent after midnight. Why is that? I'm gonna hang out with Trent after midnight tonight. There's a lot of conversation on buying and selling points. I'm gonna kind of pass over all of that. Doing poorly says, who do you like to score? We're going to touch on the touchdown prop market at the end of our prop discussion. T. Drexel, Ertz anytime, Cam over, Beckham anytime. Yeah, we'll touch on all the touchdown props at the end. Sharky says, 80% of money on Rams, and yet the line still went down. Yeah, I mean, public money doesn't move lines. Sharp money moves lines. So, little hard to tell.
yeah, this is interesting. This is what I wanted to discuss. Because certain books have been seeing a little different action on the sharp angle. So I think this would be categorized as what they call like a two-way bet, where you're seeing sharps on both sides. So I get what you're saying, because some spots I do see 65% of the money on the Rams, but I don't know. I mean, it could be reverse line movement technically, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I'm not too worked up about public money being in a certain spot. Yeah, Long Beach EV gets crushed by buying points. Yes, it does. All right. Gonna skip over a lot of this just because it's a lot of the same stuff, and I want to get actually into the prop discussion. Although I want to be reading chat. We're getting to the point where it's like a little bit too much. Blizzy says last leg of the 5-teamer is over 0.5 field goals in the first quarter. That's one hell of a 5-teamer. We'll touch on Ertz receptions in a little bit. Hey,
JFK, if you can have sharps fighting each other on a daily basis, that's the ideal book right there.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
And last but not least, thanking all of the follows. Ryan Kelly 04, JFK, Hasso Memsi, I have no idea if I'm saying that right. Doing poorly, Connor, Legit Boss, Alex, Cole. Thank you guys for the follows, and Joffrey Baratheon, the One True King, and Haas. Thank you guys for these subs. Appreciate those.
Nice. I like that little alien guy
very much. Oh, that was on YouTube that he subscribed.
Well, no, Annie subscribed. I mean, I saw it on.
No, the notification says YouTube. Also, if you happen to be watching this on YouTube, come check out the Twitch stream. This is where most of the action happens. This is where we're actually reading the chat.
Yeah, in Leg 1 Boss, we'll give you something maybe cheeky at the end.
Yep. All right. All of that stuff out of the way. I guess leans, we got the Rams. And the chat also likes the Rams. 69% of the vote came in on the Rams -3.5, so it's a lock, right? And as far as the total is concerned, 57% on the under, which means that there was 43% on the over. Lean-wise for us, I think it's just the Rams. I don't really have any thoughts at all on the total.
Yeah, I actually would lean under, but it's a gun to my head pick. So.
Yeah, and Cross and Big Baller, thank you guys for the follows.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Ben, quarterback props. We've got Kyler Murray over under 257.5. Matt Stafford over under 278.5. Any thoughts on either of these guys?
So I like the over for Murray and the under for Stafford. Here's why.
Tell us why.
I think the Cardinals are going to be playing from behind quite a bit in this one. So that's my angle there. And I think offensively with the Rams, I think they're going to look to run the ball. And I think that's a weakness for the Cardinals. I mean, I think they gave up 150 yards to Penny last week. And they ranked dead last in explosive plays allowed for running backs. So not to say, the Rams are not going to try to pass the ball, but I think it could get to a point where they're just running it down their throats. So for that, I have to lean under for Stafford.
Yeah, the Stafford under could be a pretty interesting look. I think that we'd have to trust the Cardinals to be chewing a little bit of clock if we like the Stafford under. I think if the Cardinals are kind of just 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out type of deal, the Stafford passing yards will kind of end up like Josh Allen's did in that Bills-Patriots game, where, I mean, he hit it super fast just because the Bills had the ball the whole game. Patriots couldn't do anything on offense. So I think you have to kind of trust the Cards offense, and I almost don't trust the Cards offense to consistently chew clock. So that's the only thing that scares me about taking a Stafford over. I would probably, or a Stafford under, I would probably lean with the under with you there. But it does give me a little bit of apprehension. So there's a passing prop that I actually really like. And this is going to come out a little bit out of left field, but I actually like Kyler Murray passing attempts over.
Over. Yeah, hell yeah. I was thinking about that one too.
So this number is sitting at 33. Oh, it moved up to 34.5. That's a little much. I still think I like it at 34.5. I was looking at 33.5 earlier, and it looked pretty good. So here's the deal with that. I think that with DeAndre Hopkins out of the lineup, and with the way that Kyler Murray's been dealing with his injury, plus also with the fact that the Rams' run defense is really good, you're not really going to have a lot of success trying to ground and pound against the Rams. You're going to have to utilize the passing game, even if it's just dumping the ball to the backs as a bit of a pseudo rushing attack. But I think that Murray is in line to just be taking a lot of short passes. I think the completions at 23.5 or the attempts at 34.5 are both good looks here. So in the last few games for Kyler Murray, since he's come back from his injury, stat lines. Not counting the game against, well, I guess I can count the game against the Bears. But that was with DeAndre Hopkins. 11 of 15 for 123 yards. So, like, no passes there. Run game was great against the Bears in that game. Against the Rams in Week 14, 32 of 49. Against the Lions in that loss, 23 for 41. Against the Colts in Week 16, 27 for 43. Against the Cowboys, 26 for 38. And against the Seahawks in Week 18, 28 for 39. So he's flying over the completions number. He's usually hitting the attempts number, or flying over the attempts number, usually hitting the completions number as well. I think that this Kyler Murray over 34.5 attempts looks fantastic, especially if we like the Cardinals to be playing from behind.
Great look, especially too. Connor and Edmonds are going to be playing tonight, so I definitely believe that they're going to try to get them the ball, but it's going to come out of the passing game, I think, a little more than the run game. So I think that's a really good look. I wonder if he tried to same game parlay that over with his under for his total yards, what it would do.
That sounds like you're getting greedy.
Hey, if it gave me some really advantageous odds, I would take it.
I think you'd probably be looking, if I had to just guess off the top of my head what that SGP would be at, assuming that they're both minus 110 on their own, I would guess you're looking at the 350, 400. To hit the attempts over, but the yards under.
Hey, don't tempt me with a good time, Nick.
Yeah, if somebody can actually go look, let us know if you can do an SGP on Murray's attempts over and Murray's passing yards under. So I guess we've touched on all the passing props. So let's move along to the rushing market, the Russian market. And real quick, also, thank you to Alex Farfan and A1 Hazelnut 420 for the follows. Appreciate those.
Speaking of 420, I got a hot take.
You're going to take Cam Akers alternate over 420 yards?
That's real hot. 42. No.
Yeah, 42.0. 4.20.
Nick, I really like this over for Cam Akers, and I know you're not going to like it.
No, it scares the fuck out of me. I can't.
I know. I already knew that because
we had this conversation before.
Well, yeah, but just with a guy who's coming off an injury, I totally get it. I totally understand the reservation, but here is what I'm thinking. And look, I have to trust my gut, trust what I see, trust the data, and I could be a fool, but I think Cam Akers is going to get 5 to 7 carries tonight. And last week, he had, I believe, 3. He had like 12, 13% of the snaps. But I really think that game was just one of those, hey, get back on the field, kind of get back in the rhythm, in the flow of things. But the matchup tonight for the Rams running backs, I just think is really good. And this is sitting at 26.5. I really do think they're going to utilize Akers, Nick. I just don't see a situation where he doesn't touch the ball at least 5 times. And I know that's a low number, but Cam Akers just needs to break one. And again, this is a defense that gives up a lot of explosive plays to running backs. They gave up 120 plus yards to Rashad Penny. But yes, he's still in the league. I like this number. I have to take it, Nick. I have to.
I just, if this was not Sean McVay's Rams, I would agree with you. But we just have to accept the fact that the way that the Rams operate their backfield is like old school bell cow style. One guy gets like all of the carries. And it's going to be Sony Michel. Cam Akers is not just going to get 25 carries in this game, with Michel getting 3. That's just not happening. So looking at the last few games for the Rams, Michel 21 carries to 5 for Akers. The game before that, Michel 19 carries. No other back got a carry, got a touch of any kind. The week before that, against the Vikings, you had Michel with 27, Darrell Henderson with 1. The week before that, against the Seahawks, you had Michel with 18, Henderson with 6. So, I mean, that's like a good outcome for you on Akers. And then against the Cardinals, the last time these teams played, Sony Michel, 20 carries, no other running back got a touch. And it's been like that all season. I'm not going to read off a full season or 2 seasons worth of stats, but this is something that we've seen and that we've talked about on stream before.
Yeah, and I understand that, but I was one of the only guys giving out over for Sony Michel, like, whenever that was back in like week 10 or whenever. And I get your point about the bell cow, but at the same time, like hypothetically speaking, if he had Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook on his team, you're telling me that, this is an extreme, but he's not just going to be like, oh, hey, you're going to get 90% of the carries, right?
No, I kind of think that he would. And we've seen that with these guys, right? I mean, this is Michel's first year on the team. Henderson and Akers were both on the team last year, and we saw it was just like whichever guy's playing better and healthy will get the carries. It doesn't matter who's actually better. I mean, we can make an argument that these guys are equally talented. I mean, I think a healthy Akers is a better back than Michel. I don't disagree with that, but I think that you're kind of betting on Akers becoming the bell cow in this game.
I just think they're going to try to ease him into this game, and I think again, I feel pretty confident about it, Nick. I wouldn't give out an injury, guy coming off injury if I didn't feel confident. And I really just think that based on what I saw last year in his production and how the organization feels about Cam Akers, I'm feeling good about this one, Nick.
All right.
I am.
Larry disagrees with me. That's okay. You guys can disagree with me, and I'm happy to be wrong.
Yeah.
And Luke says Hendo's been banged up, and Akers is just coming back. Yeah, that's why the split was so extreme. But look back at the last 2 years worth of box scores for the Rams, and you'll pretty consistently see whether it's Henderson, whether it's Michel, whether it's Akers, even if everybody's healthy, you'll see kind of one guy getting 75% of the carries.
Hey, 25% is all I need.
Well, I mean, I'm underestimating there a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, look, it dropped. So
yeah, there you go.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe I'm a secret agent. I'm just trying to get the books to drop this number for you. So that's Akers. What about Sony Michel?
Yeah. Also, I got to say one thing about Akers. It's actually crazy that he's coming back from Achilles surgery, I think 6 months. But I read this article about it and how they changed the incisions and all this stuff. I'm not a doctor. I'll leave it at that. But anyways, Sony Michel, 57.5. To me, I lean over still. And I know that sounds crazy because I just gave a whole spiel about Cam Akers. But this Cardinals defense, they cannot stop running backs. And Sony Michel had a really good game last time these two teams played. And 57.5, I would have to lean over there, but I'm not betting that one.
Yeah, I like the Michel over. So the model, I think, is giving too many carries to Akers here. It doesn't understand the way that the Rams really split things more extreme like that.
And I didn't base my pick off that either because I knew that. And he's easing back in, right? It's hard to.
Yeah.
It's basing off last year's stats too. So.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I like the Michel over. I'd probably take the Michel over before I took the Akers over. I'm not advocating for an Akers under. I'm advocating for a fade Akers. But I like the Michel over, 57.5. Any thoughts on some Cardinals guys? We just had a nice discussion about the Rams. And Long Beach, you're catching on. Why does the line always move right as we talk about it? I don't know. We need to have a compilation of lines moving as we talk about them.
At this point, I just accept it. I'm just like, whatever. So I honestly didn't look too much into some of these numbers, Nick.
Yeah,
so I'm curious what you have.
No, I think the Cardinals' running game is a full fade for me. Connor and Edmonds have both been kind of banged up. If it's a game where they need to pass the ball, there's even in the receiving game some questions about whether it's going to be Edmonds getting most of the snaps or Connor splitting snaps 50-50 type of deal. Kyler Murray rushing could be an interesting thought. It just makes me kind of nervous.
Yeah, it does.
I just think the entire backfield situation for the Cardinals makes me really nervous.
Mm-hmm. What about Kyler Murray?
It makes me nervous.
Hey, Nick. This goes back to our playoff philosophy, right? With these quarterbacks, leave it all on the field.
Yeah, I mean, so we've seen a little bit of that work and a little bit of that not work.
It's not a blanket statement.
Josh Allen had a great game last time out yesterday, but looking at a guy like Joe Burrow, say his number was at 11.5. He'd been carrying the ball, but his team was up. He didn't have to run, so he didn't. I mean, but then again, Josh Allen was up, and he was running all over the place. So I probably would fade this Murray prop one way or the other. He actually has only hit over 41.5 rushing yards in 4 games this year. So from that perspective, it's like I think the number's a little bit too high just because people are ready to bet overs on Murray's rushing prop. So yeah, I'm staying away. Long story short.
Same.
Yeah. Also, JFK, we're not gonna talk down on people's losses. We're all friends in here. We can be on the opposite side of bets. But we're not gonna be mean to people who have lost money. Positive vibes only in here. No, you're good. You're good. I'm telling you because I like you. And I don't want Larry to ban you.
Got excited. The Kraken. It's always like the blank steel coins. Like it's
No,
it's never just one team.
Kraken steal coins.
Yeah.
I mean, they did steal coins today. Mm-hmm. Also, you know what's great is people giving out Blackhawks money line at like what minus, whatever it was. It's gonna get counted as plus a unit on the surgical stream spreadsheet. It's gonna be a minus because they lost.
Nick, I've made that point.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can figure that out. But also, I am 1-0 on hockey this season. So
let's go.
I'm hitting at 100%. Mm-hmm. Played the Avs. It was such a square play. I was like, well, the Avs were minus 300 on the puck line against the Coyotes, and they won by 1. And then it was that back-to-back, and it dropped all the way down to 150, minus 150. I was like, fuck it. I'm doing it. And they won 5-0.
Yeah. Long Beach. I love that UNLV play. If I didn't go on the stream, but if I did, that was the pick I would have said on Trent's stream.
The only thing that I would say scares me there is if San Jose State gets hot from 3, because they will shoot a lot of 3s.
Yeah. I trust that they won't make 50% of them. Which means that they will. They'll make 60. All right, let's move on to the receiving prop market. And Ben, is there a team that you would like to start with?
Let's start with the Rams.
All right, so let's start with the Rams. Let me throw on a filter so we're only looking at the Rams here.
Wait, Nick, does the game start at 6?
Does it start at 6? I thought it was 6:30. If it starts at 6, we're gonna. Oh no, it's 6:15. Yeah, we're chilling.
Okay.
Which means like 6:25 in the playoffs. But we'll be good to finish up in the next 10 or 15 minutes, I would think.
All right, let's start with the Rams.
All right, starting with the Rams, we have Ben Skronik over under 6.5. And that's it? No, just kidding.
No.
We have Cooper Kupp over under 104.5. OBJ 48.5. Sony Michel 10.5. Tyler Higbee 41.5. Van Jefferson 38.5. Cam Akers 9.5.
I just want to talk about Cooper Kupp because that's a obvious high line, 104.5.
Yeah, and I'm confused by what the model is putting out here. So the model has Kupp all the way down at 72.5 yards. The model's been high on Kupp. The model's had Kupp like in the 90s and hundreds. It's not just like a thing where it can't put a receiver that high. But for some reason,
what does it have Cam at? Cam Akers.
Cam Akers, it's got Akers at like 8 yards on one catch. So I'm really confused.
Yeah, well, maybe it thinks that, I mean, Beckham, Higbee, Jefferson, all around 37-45.
I mean, it's got all those guys like at their numbers, right? So it's got Beckham at 44.5. His Vegas number is 48.5. Model has Higbee at 38 yards. His number's 41.5. Jefferson, it's got him at 37.5, and his number's up at 38.5, like the same number. So I don't know. Actually, so the guy it has giving a lot of yards to is Skronik, which is kind of funny.
And you think these numbers add up accordingly to what they had Stafford at for passing yards, right?
Yeah, I mean, adjusting accordingly for the fact that the passing yard number is always going to be like 15 or so % higher than just adding up the receiving preps.
So yeah. I like the under for Kupp. I do, and I'll say it again. I just think that there's going to be a little more emphasis on the run game here for the Rams.
Yeah, and
I think Kupp's still going to get around 100. Maybe he hits this over. I'm not too confident on it, but I just feel like, man, 105 yards for a playoff game, that's a lot. And if they're going to be up, Nick, yeah.
Yeah, it is a lot of yards, and I'm kind of with you. I would lean the under, just because, like, in the playoffs, you have to focus on scheming out a team's best player. So I mean, I'm not going to talk all night about Kupp. I'm with you. I like the under for Cooper Kupp.
It's hard to scheme out a guy who can line up anywhere on the field.
That is true.
Kupp really is. But you can still do it. It's just difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially when you can see the coverage and you can move a guy out of the box, and then Stafford can check down or check the play to a run. They do that quite a bit too.
Mm-hmm. That they do. So you know what I think is a little weird is the fact that Ben Skronik's number is all the way down at 6.5.
Well,
I mean, he missed a couple weeks, but since week 13, I think he's played the 6 games since then. He's, I guess, only been over this number 3 times out of 6, actually. But he's been way over it 3 times. And I'm thinking that if we think that the run game is going to be maybe a little bit of an emphasis, so they're going to stack the box, we think that Kupp is going to be, I mean, they're at least going to try and scheme Kupp out of the game. Maybe some of the secondary receiving options. Yeah, and Alex, this is the schedule that we keep for all of these streams. We are big chillin', time wise. We're gonna wrap up with plenty of time to get bets in.
So, what about Van Jefferson or OBJ?
I think that if I were looking for a Rams receiver to take an over who's not a kind of off the board pick like Skronik, I think Jefferson is my guy. At 38.5. It just feels like I don't really have any justification for it, but it feels like the right play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like OBJ for a touchdown, but we can look at that after we get to the Cardinals receivers.
Yeah. So speaking of the Cardinals wide receivers, we've got AJ Green parentheses ARI. Because we're gonna confuse him for the cornerback who plays on a different team who's also named AJ Green. Over under 45 or 44.5. Antoine Wesley 43.5. Chase Edmonds 22.5, Christian Kirk 53.5, Rondale Moore 16.5, Zach Ertz 57.5. Any thoughts on these, Ben?
Oh man, you know what's so funny is that Rondell Moore number has gotten so low, but for a good reason. I was high on him earlier in the season, but man, teams started to really scheme him, and they figured out like when he's going to be on the field and like what he's going to do. He's not fooling anyone anymore. But man, that number is pretty low. Just interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, it was up
is.
to like 25.5 like just a few games ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not really a guy that I want to touch personally.
You know what? I kind of like that Ertz number.
For an over?
Yeah, for an over. If I were to pick one of the Cardinals players to hit an over, I would go with Ertz.
It's a lot of yards.
A lot of yards.
Why do you like over 57.5 for Ertz?
He's a guy who has playoff experience, and someone's got to be the guy.
Yeah, I mean, someone's got to be the guy. It's
Not
like AJ Green doesn't have playoff experience.
I mean, how much does he actually have?
Probably a couple of first-round games with the Bengals.
Yeah.
So I actually want to kind of add these up. My impression looking at these Cardinals receiving numbers is that they're just across the board slightly too high.
Mm-hmm.
So Ertz is at 57.5. We've got Moore at 16.5. Kirk at 53.5. Edmonds at 22.5. Wesley at 23.5. Green at 44.5. That's 218 yards for the Cardinals receivers. That doesn't take into account number 5, number 6 receivers, backup tight ends. There's no James Conner number there. And we're already looking like we might match Kyler Murray's passing yard number, just factoring those guys in without really even taking the tax that you go, making that conversion.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's a good point.
Potential, I really don't want to because I think that Murray's going to be passing the ball a lot. But potential Nick Special spot on the Cardinals receiving unders. But I'm not doing it. I'm not firing it up.
Yeah, that's a interesting angle. Also, AJ Green 0-5 in the playoffs. He's had some good outings. But...
It's experience. Is it good experience? Questionable. Yeah. Is it a trend? AJ Green 0-5 in the playoffs, tailing him as a wagon.
0-5. Teams are 0-5 when AJ Green is in a game.
When they have a wide receiver named AJ Green.
Yep, that's the trend. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
Revenge narrative for AJ Green.
No, it's the wagon. You can't go against the wagon.
Can't go against the wagon.
Mm-hmm.
And then, ironically, the Bengals win their first playoff game in 30 years. AJ
as soon
Green's
as he's gone
on that other
yeah,
team.
I think
See?
it's completely because of AJ Green.
Yep. I forget how old AJ Green is, man.
He's like surprisingly young. He's what, like 34?
He's like 32.
Is he only 32? I mean, maybe that's why he's surprisingly young, because I tried to remember his age.
Oh, 33.
And overestimated
33.
it? Okay, right in the middle. But yeah. He was the same draft class as Julio? Question mark? Is that right? Or like one before? I feel like he's been around forever.
Yeah. Is he a Hall of Famer?
That's a good question.
I think he is. He's had 7 Pro Bowl appearances. The NFL Hall of Fame is different from other leagues, and I think they like longevity and consistency, and he has that. So
he almost feels a little bit like a potential Frank Gore type at wide receiver. Really good for a long time. Never the best guy, but still really good. Yeah, not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Not unless he plays till he's like 40 and racks up another 5,000 receiving yards. But I really don't think he'd do that. But definitely got some potential. All right. So last but not least, let's take a look at our favorite market, the touchdown prop market.
Hey, I actually have one I like, believe
boy.
it or not. Yeah.
And who is that?
Oh, God, it's plus 140.
For OBJ?
Oh, God. Yeah. Maybe I don't like it as much as I thought I did. He just gets so many goal line looks, Nick.
Yeah.
But, man, minus or plus 140. I was
Model-
hoping for a plus 200.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Model has him at 0.44 touchdowns. So plus 140 is probably not quite the best value.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. First touchdown. No. That's how you get into the rabbit hole. We're not doing that.
Yeah, I'm going to do a first touchdown scorer, second touchdown scorer, third touchdown scorer, all the way through eighth touchdown scorer parlay, and I'm also going to tack in the under.
And the over for Murray passing yards.
Yeah.
Or
I was just trying to come up with something that was impossible. That's like so many touchdowns that the total is guaranteed to go over.
Oh, yeah, that is true. But that was the one guy I was curious on.
Was OBJ?
Yeah.
So, I mean, probably not so surprisingly, the model's favorite guy is Cooper Kupp at 0.72 touchdowns. I think at minus 165, that's a little bit expensive for me.
I wish I could get a no, but it would never be where I would want it
No,
at.
the hold on that market would be like 10% plus.
Yeah. And I always go back to Ohtani when it was like Ohtani not to hit a home run.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like minus. I'm like, what? This isn't Barry Bonds. It was funny. James Conner's interesting though.
Yeah, James Conner's interesting. I mean, Ben, why not your boy Cam Akers plus 200?
I think they. I mean,
If
that's a plus 200.
If you're counting on a big play, right?
That's
why
true.
doesn't that big play in the end zone?
Because Sony Michel would probably be the guy at the goal line, right?
Well, but it's a big play, right? It might just go all the way.
Yeah, depending on where they're at. But it's only plus 200.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think if I had to say a touchdown scorer today, which I really don't want to do. I mean, look, there's how many guys are sitting at like plus 200 or in the 200s? There's like 12 guys.
Wesley?
Yeah, also Cross, I read the first 5 words of your comment and got really concerned that I was going to have to do something about it.
Pause.
Yeah, that was like big time pause territory. That's where it like went over to the next line for me.
Yeah, this guy's doing some deep handicapping.
Yeah, that's an entirely different kind of handicapping. Wesley has a 7-inch size advantage over Darius Williams. So, I mean, he could potentially be a goal line look. He's plus 450 or plus 400 on DraftKings. That could be a look. Another thing I think. Oh, actually, never mind. I was thinking about potentially the defenses.
Rams defense?
Rams defense is plus 450. Cardinals defense is plus 550.
Does that include special teams?
No, because the special teams is usually an offensive player.
Wait, keep going. Akers? Who's the other Akers?
David Akers? No.
There's another person named Akers.
Landon Akers.
Who the hell is that?
Who the hell is Landon Akers? That's an excellent question.
Nick, also something else that happened yesterday that I thought was fucking so hilarious is someone on Barstool thought they bet the Watt first touchdown score, but they picked the wrong Watt because there's 2 Watts on the... Yeah, and his reaction was hilarious because he's like, I just hit it. Thought he won, I think it was $1,500 off like a $25 bet, and then he had the wrong Watt, so...
Yeah, must have had Derek.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an oof. Yeah, he's a receiver for the Rams. I'm assuming he just plays some special teams.
Oh, is he that? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the guy.
The white guy.
The white guy.
Yeah.
What gave it away? The fact that he's named Landon?
No, it gave it away because I looked his name up and I got a picture. But I do remember him at Iowa State.
I don't.
Yeah.
All right, so what is your favorite bet in this game, and why is it the David Akers rushing over?
Yeah, we're gonna parlay David.
I just said David Akers. I'm an idiot.
I'm parlaying.
That's neither of the Akers playing in this game.
I'm parlaying both the Akers. No,
both the Akers.
I'm going with Cam Akers over 25.5. I'll stick to what I had. Over 26.5. That's where it's at now. Over 26.5 rushing yards. You know what, Nick?
What?
He's gonna go for 40.
He's gonna go for 40.
Yeah.
All right. And for me, my favorite prop in this game is going to be Kyler Murray over 34.5 passing attempts at -105. I think that the Rams are going to have a lot of success shutting down the running game for the Cardinals. So I think that Murray's going to be having to throw the ball both as like a pseudo run game type of deal, screens, dump off to the halfback and the tight end. And also I think that the Rams are going to win and the Cardinals are going to play from behind. And without DeAndre Hopkins, without that big deep threat, it's going to be just a lot of shorter passes. So the Murray attempts over 34.5 is what I like the most. Also like the completions over 23.5. But again, attempt is where I'm at.
So you're saying Wesley is going to have to play from behind, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I
And we
like
know what
it.
that means.
We do. 34.5. Did you price shop?
No, I have not price shopped at all.
I'm going to put that in.
Let's see. PointsBet has also 34.5. I mean, FanDuel's usually the one that will randomly have it like 3 lower.
Yeah.
So let's see. That's the last place I'll price shop at. See where they have this. I'll check your Akers prop while we're there.
I'm fine with 26.5. I've told so many people that at that number. So,
Yeah.
but
They
yeah,
also
look
have
around
Murray
if you can
the
find
same number.
25.5. Yeah.
Larry says, what are the odds on Murray getting sat for the second half?
Hey Nick, I saw an interesting prop to go off of what Larry's going with the second half, but this was over 5.5 sacks for both teams.
Yeah, who was it that said that? Was that like Dilberto on the stream?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I actually like that a lot because Von Miller in those passing situations, like that's a good look. And then also the other side, I think that's what concerns me though. I think if the game plays out the way I think it's going to, it might be like 2 sacks and then 4 on the other side of the ball. But
Yeah.
kind of like it though. Sacks are hard. Like I've never gotten to that market. I know people do punts and sacks.
I'm sure there's an edge to be had. It's an obscure market.
Hector does it.
Yeah.
He's had good success. I'm surprised they still let him do it because he kills it with the punts. So imagine at the bar, Nick, you're just like going crazy. They're like, what bid? The over on the full game? No, I got over on punts. Oh yeah.
It's like betting corners in soccer.
Yeah. Ugh. What are the other sports that would be the equivalent of that? Baseball? Bases, maybe?
But what? I mean, not even.
Yeah, that would have to be like...
Yeah. Also, pick 6. We have sacks at the team level. I don't put it up on the dashboard, and I don't keep it just because there's not really markets on it. I mean, at least... I mean, there's markets on it, but there's not common markets on it. Peter, chill. Calm down, please. Yeah, it's like betting on errors in baseball. That's a good comparison. Just some complete degen shit. That's even more degen though.
Total errors.
But yeah, I think it's time for us to hop off. I'm gonna throw a raid Kobe's way. Kobe was in here earlier. I think he brought over a bunch of people. So
cool.
Gonna pay that back. Thank y'all for being here. Good luck on the bets. Next stream for us will be Wednesday, I believe, for college basketball. Plus, of course, NFL streams for every day that there's playoffs, I guess, except for yesterday. Just some weird shit happened yesterday. But yeah, you guys were awesome. Tons of people in here today. Appreciate all that.
Thanks, guys. You know
last
who
couple
else is
follows.
awesome?
Who's awesome?
Cam Akers.
Cam Akers is awesome. I agree. Love me some Cam Akers.
Yeah.
And thank
And
you.
and David. Sorry.
And David. Yeah.
David. Yeah, I'm sorry.
T Drexel, Obama's Broomstick, Detroiter 68, and Rick Leg 1. If you guys are still here, thank you for the follows. Kind of forgot to read those out as they rolled in, but I see them. Appreciate all of you guys very much. Larry, you're awesome without it being said.
Yeah, Larry. Larry?
Larry,
Question mark?
Larry, not awesome.
Can you have a question mark in your legal first name?
Maybe.
You can have a hyphen.
No, that was my first name.
Oh, maybe?
Maybe.
What's your name?
What's your name?
I don't know.
I don't know. Question mark.
Yeah.
Chris, you're awesome. Everybody's awesome. Especially all the OGs in here.
Oh, Hurricane Chris he's an OG.
Yeah, I mean we've been doing this for, the streams for like a year and a half. I know we got people in here who've been with us the whole time. You guys.
Favorite
you guys are
Hurricane
the
Chris
goats.
song? Halle Berry, Halle Berry. Yeah? Hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
That's him. Did you guys know that? They don't know.
I don't know.
Well, Kobe's about to find out because we're about to rate him.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm clicking start raid. Be sure to join that. Go show Kobe
Everything
some
is
love.
awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Good luck, guys.
We'll see y'all next time. Peace.